Hello everyone, today is January 25 and I'm here to update you on Balikbayan's travel guide. I made a similar video months ago, so I'm here to update that. This has been requested many times, so here it is. This is it, Pansit. We can't talk about Balikbayans without mentioning the Balikbayan visa-free privilege, because that's what you guys are getting. Who's gonna get it? Former Filipinos. Former Filipinos, who are they? There are Filipinos, born Filipinos, but they migrated to another country, have been naturalized as foreign citizens. They don't have a Philippine passport anymore. They haven't applied for dual citizenship. They only have a foreign passport. While who else are covered by Balikbayan visa-free privilege? The dependents of former Filipinos and Filipinos, your spouse, your children. So for the spouse, they have to be a non-visa required national. For example, there are more than 150 nationals non-visa required to the Philippines. For example, Americans, Canadians, UK nationals, most Europe countries, South Koreans, Japanese, Australians, British. The list is very long. I'll put the link in the description box. But your foreign spouse, as long as they travel with you, former Filipino or Filipino spouse, they will also get the Balikbayan visa-free privilege. They will not be treated like a regular tourist. Nah, Balikbayan visa-free privilege. And same for your children. If you have children born overseas, they're foreign citizens, you haven't reported their birth to the Philippine Embassy, or you're not planning on getting them dual citizenship, that's okay. They can still get Balikbayan visa-free privilege as long as they travel with you and they are non-visa required nationals. So just like I mentioned earlier, you won't be treated as a regular tourist who will only get 30 days visa-free stay. Nope, not 30 days. You get 1 year. And that's for free. Aside from getting 1 year, you will also be exempted from showing our onward or return ticket. Your airline should never ask it from you. Immigration will never. Because, you get 1 year stay. So, onward or return ticket is not required if you're covered by Balikbayan visa-free privilege. And do you have to apply for it? I've been getting messages, Jennifer, how do I apply for Balikbayan visa? No, you don't have to apply. Okay, if you're qualified for it, it will be given to you upon arrival. The only thing you need to do is just ask nicely to the immigration officer at the airport, Balikbayan, can I get Balikbayan stamp please? And most likely they will just give it to you without even asking for documentation. But if they do, they will ask for former Filipinos. If ever they ask for proof, old Philippine passport or Philippine birth certificate will do. If you have none of these, you can also show a previous Balikbayan stamp from your passport or your old passport. That is just a proof that you are a former Filipino. Other documents that you may be able to show is example, a naturalization certificate from your foreign country stating that you are a former Filipino or your country of birth was the Philippines. That's an option, pero this is the best. Yung old Filipino passport or birth certificate. Many times they don't really ask for it, but some airlines ask for it, Like for example, they may ask for an onward ticket and you say, I'm covered by Balikbayan privilege. There was a Filipino who traveled last week. She was asked for return ticket and she didn't have any. And so she told the airline crew, oh, I'm covered by Balikbayan privilege. Google it. And that was it. Hindi siya hininga ng onward ticket. Moving on, for your spouse who are traveling with you, a marriage certificate. Yeah, anyone can be married. Kung walang proof, di ba? It makes sense. So just bring your marriage certificate. And then for the child, a birth certificate. Question. Can a foreigner spouse, child of a Balikbayan, avail this privilege when traveling to the Philippines alone? Let's say a foreigner is married to a Filipina but does not travel with her. Can he get Balikbayan privilege? No. You must travel with your Filipino or former Filipino spouse or parent to get Balikbayan privilege. They won't get Balikbayan stamp if they travel alone. While how about fiancés, parents, grandparents, grandchildren, in-laws? They are not covered by balikbayan privilege, especially parents. Let me emphasize that. If you are a foreigner with a Filipino child and you are not married with the Filipino parent, you are not covered by balikbayan privilege. Okay? Parents are not covered, only the spouse or the child. Another question. Can the Balikbayan program be availed by the Balikbayan independents every time they enter the Philippines and not only once a year? Yes, all immigration officers at authorized ports of entry shall grant the benefits and privileges to all Balikbayan and former Filipinos included every time you enter the country, regardless of your frequent travel. This means that former Filipinos, spouse, and children can get Balikbayan stamp every time you enter the Philippines and not just once a year. And you may say, Jennifer, I want to stay longer than 1 year. Can I do that? Of course you can. You can stay continuously up to 36 months. I know, you can stay in the Philippines as a tourist for 3 years. You only have to go to an immigration office before your 1 year stay is up or is finished. So you can get either 1 month, 2 months, or 6 months extensions. So up to 36 months. And as a general rule, of course, your passport should be at least or more than 6 months valid when you travel. This is very basic. Many countries have the same rule, even the US have. So yun nga, just check the validity of your passport before you book your ticket for international flights. Now, let's move on to COVID-19 travel protocols. COVID-19, meron pa ba, Jennifer? There are still COVID-19 protocols? Yes, guys, there is still COVID-19 protocols. But it's very simple. If you're fully vaccinated, really, there is no more quarantine, no need to get tested. The only thing you have to do is bring your vaccination proof and register to e-travel. Simple. But to be considered fully vaccinated, let's check if you're eligible. If you have completed doses, for example, 2 doses of Pfizer, Moderna, Sinovac, Sinopharm, as long as you have completed 2 shots or 1 shot of J&J is enough, and then 14 days must have passed since you got your second dose or first dose of J&J. It's really just that. To be considered fully vaccinated, just 2 things. Complete your doses and wait for 14 days. I know majority of us have been vaccinated since last year or 2021 pa. And don't worry, boosters are no longer required. They are not counted. Meanwhile, for unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, 15 years old and above, you still need to get tested. The good thing is that there is no more quarantine as long as you can show a negative test result. So for the unvaccinated or those defaulters, in the Philippines we call it defaulters, if you did not finish your second dose, ganun. So for the unvaccinated, partially vaccinated, 15 years old and above, you can show a remotely supervised or laboratory-based rapid antigen test administered and certified by a healthcare professional, taken within 24 hours before departure. Layovers are not counted as long as you don't exit the airport in your layover countries. So another option is an RT-PCR test. It's still accepted as long as it is taken within 48 hours before departure. For me, really the best option is to just take the antigen test. The result is released in less than 15 minutes. It's cheaper. And yeah, if you're finding it difficult to find a lab that will do the test for you, check out remotely supervised testing. And again, a layover in another country is not counted as long as you stay inside the airport during such layover. The basis of the 24 hours is time of departure, not arrival. While for children, if you're traveling with children with you and they are under 15 years old, 14 years old and lower, this is the rule. They will just follow the protocol of their traveling parent or guardian. However, if they are unaccompanied, they're traveling on their own, they will be treated as an adult traveler. So if, let's say, I'm fully vaccinated. I have a kid who is 10 years old and he is unvaccinated. He will just follow my protocol. So I will get tested, and if I can show a negative test result, then none of us will quarantine. Only I will need to get tested. In an inquiry with Bureau of Quarantine yesterday, they said that you don't need to test, as the minor child will just follow the protocol of the traveling parent or guardian. How about if you are unvaccinated and you choose to get tested upon arrival? Can you do that? Yes, you can. If you fail to show a negative test result upon arrival, you can get tested upon arrival in the Philippines. It will be a negative rapid antigen test. You'll be taken antigen test. It's very quick. The results can be released in less than 30 minutes. And the costs can range from 700 to 1,000 pesos. You could pay in dollars. If you don't have Philippine pesos, they will accept it. They will be happy to. So really, this is the option for the unvaccinated: test before departure or test upon arrival. If you want to get tested upon arrival, I have two warnings for you. If you test positive, you'll be sent to quarantine. Probably 7 to 10 days. So I do not recommend getting tested upon arrival if you are unvaccinated. Another warning is that some airlines will require you to show a negative test result. Some airlines are not aware of the test upon arrival option. So please, unvaccinated travelers, get your test done in your country of origin. I know a Filipina who was denied boarding 2 weeks ago for not having a negative test result in being unvaccinated. She was denied by American Airlines. Of course, the ground crew of American Airlines was wrong for her to deny boarding, because she could have just been, there is test upon arrival option, but the airline wasn't aware of that. Anyways, you don't really want to argue on the day of your flight, right? I strongly suggest get tested at the country of your origin. No risk of quarantine or being denied boarding. Meanwhile, e-travel, this is for everybody. Vaccinated or not, children, adult, it doesn't matter. If you are traveling to the Philippines, you must register to e-travel. When? You can register within 4 days before your arrival in the Philippines. So you can do it a day before your flight, 2 days before your flight. Where do you register? Through etravel.gov.ph. This e-travel replaced One Health Pass. It replaced e-arrival card. Yeah, this started last December 1. But just like the previous systems, if you register to e-travel, you will receive a QR code. If you're fully vaccinated or you're traveling with children, you will get a green QR code. If you're unvaccinated, 15 years old and above, you will get a red QR code. So that's all about Philippine travel. Pack your bags. Don't bring onions or any agricultural products. Follow the law. You can buy them here in the Philippines. And on the day of your trip, don't forget masks, because we still have to wear masks at Philippine airports. Although I have to be honest, when I landed in the Philippines last December, I wasn't wearing masks on my flights at the airport. I just forgot. Nobody bothered to come to me and say, "Where's your mask?" A lot of people were not wearing masks as well. I would say like 20%, 30% were not wearing masks. The rest are. Most Filipinos, I would say, especially in the province, still wear masks, even though it's no longer mandatory. So, just in summary, this is your pre-departure checklist. If you're fully vaccinated, of course, make sure your passport is more than 6 months valid, and then your vaccination proof, your e-travel QR code, and then to avail Balikbayan privilege, to make sure that you avail it, old Filipino passport or birth certificate, marriage certificate for your spouse, and for your child, a birth certificate. While for the unvaccinated Balikbayans, passport should be more than 6 months valid, e-travel, forgot to update that, e-travel QR code. And then we have your negative test result. It can either be RT-PCR or antigen, but antigen is what I really, really recommend. And then, same old thing, old Filipino passport or birth certificate, marriage certificate for the spouse, and birth certificate for the child. Arrival in the Philippines. What is the process like? This is just 4 easy steps. First, you go through Bureau of Quarantine verification. In that part, they will ask for your e-travel QR code, so prepare it. Upon arrival, you should have it on your hand. It's the very first thing that they will ask. This was the scenario when I went home last December. It's the very first thing they will ask. Where is your e-travel QR code? Next up is immigration. You go through the foreign passport lane. But I have to give you a warning, there is a long line, especially if you're traveling during the busy season. There's a space problem in NAIA. This was already shared by the Bureau of Immigration that the lines at the airport are long and it must be resolved. Yeah, it's pretty shocking, especially for foreign passport holders. They were only like in Terminal 3, there were only 3 booths, and there were no one was instructing anybody, no. So, medyo magulo. Kind of chaotic. This was the scenario in Terminal 3. I heard Terminal 3 is the worst out of all the terminals. So, I probably better in 1 or 2. And then last step is just, third step is pick up your luggage. It's really best if you have something unique with your luggage. Put a ribbon on it. Put something unique in it, no? Black, blue, red luggages are very common. It's easy to mistake your bag. And some travelers, I heard, are putting air tags on their luggage so that they can find it easily. It's totally up to you. And then customs, my experience with customs was they didn't hand out these forms anymore. That was in Terminal 3, pero they asked, do you have anything to declare? I said no, and that was it. Just don't bring agricultural products, please. And if you have gifts to your family, put their names on it outside the box so they know that it's for personal consumption or gifts to family and you're not about to sell stuff here. Family can pick you up at the airport just like normal times. Taximeters are outside available. If you want to pre-arrange your taxi, I can give you recommendations. Kuya Rainier, Johnny, Kuya Leif, Kuya Pablo, I'll have their link for their Facebook profiles in the comment section if you want to contact them. When I went home, it was very, very handy, very helpful to have a sundo, someone to pick you up. I heard Grab is also available in NAIA. You can download the app and book your sundo or your pickup through your phone. Or if you are staying in a hotel pickup is also a good option. So that is all about Philippine Balikbayan Travel Guide for 2023, guys. I hope this was helpful. If it was, please leave a like on the video. I'll see you with another update. If you want an e-travel registration step-by-step guide, I'll put the link sa comment section. God bless you all and stay safe.